The alarm bells rang across the Earth Defense Fleet flagship. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho ran to the command center. His officers looked scared. "Something terrible was happening, sir. We are getting a transmission from the Dominion Empire," said Communications Officer Park. "They are broadcasting to all human colonies and Earth." Yoon Tae-ho felt his stomach drop. The Dominion never sent friendly messages. "Put it on the main screen." The screen filled with an alien face. Supreme Commander Vexathara of the Dominion Empire looked at the camera with cold, dead eyes. Behind her stood thousands of human prisoners. Men, women, children, soldiers, farmers, miners. All of them looked tired and afraid. "Humans of Earth and all colonies," Vexathara spoke in perfect English. "You have fought us for 2 years. You have cost us ships and soldiers. Today we show you the price of your resistance." Yoon Tae-ho watched in horror as Dominion soldiers began to line up the human prisoners. He recognized some of the uniforms. These were his people, soldiers from the 3rd Fleet that went missing 6 months ago, civilians from the New Sol colony that was attacked last year. 7 million of your kind now stand before us, Vexathara continued. They will die today, all of them, and you will watch. The executions began. On Earth, President Kim Bora sat in her office watching the same broadcast. She had been in a meeting with her advisors when the emergency alert came through. Now she sat frozen as she watched her people die one by one. The camera showed everything. Families holding each other. Soldiers standing proud even in death. Children crying for their parents. The Dominion soldiers showed no mercy. They killed them all slowly, making sure the cameras caught every moment. President Kim spotted a familiar face among the prisoners. Her son, Lieutenant Kim Min-ho. He had been missing for 4 months after his ship was captured near the outer colonies. Now she watched him die on live television. Dr. Park Hee-jin stood in her laboratory, tears running down her face. She was supposed to be working on new defense systems. Instead, she watched the galaxy's greatest crime happen in real time. Around her, other scientists had stopped working. Everyone stared at the screens in shock. The broadcast went on for hours. 7 million people took a long time to kill. The Dominion made sure to show every death from different angles. They wanted humans to feel helpless. They wanted them to give up. Captain Lee Dongwoo was the only survivor from Transport Ship 7. He had escaped when the Dominion attacked their convoy. Now he hid in an asteroid field, watching his friends and fellow soldiers die on the prison world of Kepler 442b. He recognized many faces, people he had served with, people he had promised to protect. Back on the Dominion command ship, Vexathara spoke again. "This is what happens to those who fight the Dominion Empire. Surrender now or watch more of your people die. We have captured millions more from your colonies. They wait for your answer." The executions continued through the night. The Dominion used different methods. Some prisoners were shot. Others were thrown into space without suits. Some were fed to alien creatures while the cameras rolled. They wanted to break human spirit completely. News reports across Earth showed people gathering in the streets. Some cried. Others screamed in anger. Families tried to spot their missing loved ones among the victims. The whole planet watched in horror as their people died far from home. In the Earth Assembly Building, emergency meetings began immediately. Representatives from every nation and colony demanded action. But what could they do? The human fleet was smaller than the Dominion forces. Earth's weapons were less advanced. The military advisors had no good options. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho contacted his fleet commanders. "Can we reach Kepler 442b in time to stop this?" "No, sir," replied Captain Kim. "Even at maximum speed, we are 3 days away. And the Dominion has a full battle group protecting that system." Yoon Tae-ho slammed his fist on the table. His brother had died in the first Dominion attack 2 years ago. Now he watched thousands more die and could do nothing to stop it. Dr. Park Hye-jin received an encrypted message during the broadcast. It was from her secret research team. For months, they had been working on forbidden weapons. Things that broke every treaty humans had ever signed. Things that could destroy entire planets. The message was simple. Should we continue the Phoenix Protocol? She had started the project as a last resort. Something to use only if humanity faced complete extinction. Now, watching her people die, she wondered if that time had come. The broadcast finally ended after 18 hours. 7 million humans were dead. The last image showed Supreme Commander Vexathara standing among the bodies. "You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally," she announced. "If you do not, We will broadcast the deaths of 7 million more. Then 7 million more after that. We will keep killing until you submit or until no humans remain alive. The screen went black. President Kim Bo-ra stood up slowly. Her advisors waited for her to speak. The whole world waited for her response. She looked at each person in the room. These were good people. They believed in laws and treaties and civilized behavior. Call an emergency session of the assembly, she said quietly. Full attendance required. What will you tell them? Asked her chief advisor. President Kim looked out the window at the crowds below. People were still crying. Others looked angry enough to fight the entire galaxy with their bare hands. I am going to declare war, she said. Real war, not the limited conflict we have been fighting, total war. But the treaties, her advisor started. The Dominion just broke every treaty that ever existed, President Kim interrupted. They showed our people no mercy. They will receive none from us. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho received new orders an hour later. All defensive positions were to be abandoned. Every ship was to be refitted for offense. Every weapon system was to be upgraded. The Earth Defense Fleet was now the Earth Attack Fleet. Dr. Park Hye-jin sent her response to the Phoenix Protocol team. Continue all projects. Remove all safety limits. We are going to war. Captain Lee Dong-woo got a message from Earth Command. He was to begin recruitment for a new type of unit. Soldiers who had lost everything and wanted revenge. Soldiers who would follow any order to hurt the enemy. The Dominion had wanted to break human spirit with their broadcast. Instead, they had created something much worse. They had shown humans that their enemies had no limits, no mercy, no honor, so humans decided they would have none either. The war was about to change. The Dominion thought they were fighting a civilized species that followed rules. They were wrong. They had just taught humans that rules were for species that deserved to live. President Kim Bo-ra ended her address to the assembly with words that would be remembered forever. They wanted us to see our people die. Now they will see theirs die. 7 million was their number. It will also be ours. We will not stop until we have taken 7 million of their lives for every one of ours they took. The real war was about to begin. 3 months had passed since the broadcast. Earth looked different now. Every factory had been converted to make weapons. Every school taught children how to fight. Every family had someone in the military. Dr. Park Hye-jin stood in her new laboratory. It was 10 times larger than her old one. The Phoenix Protocol had unlimited funding now. She had the best scientists from every human colony working for her. They were making things that would have given her nightmares before the broadcast. Show me the antimatter bombs, she told her assistant. The young scientist led her to a secured section. We can make them in 3 sizes now. City destroyers, continent killers, and planet crackers. The planet crackers can destroy worlds in minutes. Dr. Park nodded. Before the broadcast, she would have refused to make such weapons. Now she wanted to make bigger ones. What about the biological weapons? We have created viruses that target Dominion DNA. They will kill only their species and leave other life forms alone. We also have nanobots that can eat through their ship hulls. Good. Make more of everything. Captain Lee. Dong-woo walked through the training camps on Mars. Thousands of volunteers had joined his special units. They called themselves the Wraith Corps. Most of them had lost family in the broadcast or in Dominion attacks. Today we practice boarding enemy ships, he announced to his troops. Remember, we take no prisoners. We gather information, then we kill everyone aboard. The soldiers nodded. These were not the same humans who had fought defensively for 2 years. These people wanted blood. They had watched their families die, and now they wanted revenge. Private Yoon tested his new armor. It was made from captured Dominion technology but improved by human engineers. It made him stronger and faster. More importantly, it made him scarier. Sir, what if they try to surrender? Asked one soldier. Captain Lee looked at him coldly. Did they accept surrender from our 7 million people? The answer is the same for them. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho commanded the new Earth War fleet from his flagship. He had 2,000 ships now, all armed with the latest weapons. Dr. Park's lab had given them tools that could cut through Dominion shields like paper. Admiral, we have found a Dominion supply convoy, reported his communications officer. 12 cargo ships with minimal escort. Attack immediately. No survivors. The human ships appeared out of hyperspace around the Dominion convoy. The aliens tried to send a surrender signal. The humans ignored it. In 10 minutes, every Dominion ship was destroyed. Every alien aboard was dead. This same scene played out across the galaxy. Human ships hunted Dominion vessels with ruthless efficiency. They had learned to use captured Dominion technology to track their enemies. The hunters had become the hunted. Engineer Choi Nam-soo worked in the mines of Titan's Gate. The Dominion had captured this world a year ago. Now Choi led the resistance cell that controlled the communication arrays. They intercepted every Dominion message and sent the information to Earth. Another convoy is leaving tomorrow, he told his team, heading for the Vega system, mostly civilians and supplies. His partner Kim Soo-min smiled grimly. I will send the coordinates to the Warfleet. They will never reach Vega. The resistance had grown from small groups hiding in caves to organized armies. They had weapons now. Good weapons. Earth Command dropped supplies and soldiers behind enemy lines every week. The Dominion could not control the planets they had captured. On the Dominion homeworld, Supreme Commander Vexithara read the daily reports. They were all bad news. In 3 months, humans had destroyed 400 Dominion ships. They had killed over 100,000 Dominion soldiers and civilians. Human attacks were getting stronger and more frequent. How is this possible? She asked her intelligence chief. 3 months ago, humans were barely holding their defensive lines. Now they are destroying our convoys across the galaxy. They have changed, Supreme Commander. Our psychological profiles no longer apply. These humans fight like a completely different species. Vexthara studied the tactical reports. Human ships appeared in systems that should have been impossible to reach. They used weapons that should not have existed. They fought with a level of violence that shocked even Dominion veterans. They are using our own tactics against us, she realized. Total warfare with no limits. President Kim Bo-ra met with her war council every morning. The reports were always the same. Human forces were winning every battle. The enemy was losing ships faster than they could build them. But it was not enough. How many Dominion dead? She asked. Approximately 150,000 in the last month, replied General Park Jin-woo. Not enough. We need to kill them faster. We owe 7 million deaths and we have barely begun to collect. Dr. Park Hae-jin entered the meeting room. Madam President, the Nova Lance is ready for testing. What does it do? It destabilizes stars. We can make their suns explode. President Kim considered this. How many worlds would that destroy? Each star system has between 3 and 12 inhabited planets. Billions of lives per system. Good. Target the Dominion's least important systems first. We want them to know what is coming. The first test happened in the Kepler 442 system. The same system where 7 million humans had died 3 months ago. Dr. Park's Nova Lance hit the star from 3 light-years away. The star began to collapse. Every planet in the system had 2 hours to evacuate. Most had no ships. Most had nowhere to go. The Dominion watched helplessly as their colonies died in nuclear fire. Commander Jang So-young led the Ghost Fleet and captured Dominion ships. They looked like enemy vessels but were crewed by humans who wanted revenge. They entered Dominion space without being detected. Target their civilian transports first, she ordered. Make them afraid to travel. The Ghost Fleet destroyed passenger ships, cargo haulers, and medical vessels. They made space dangerous for any Dominion civilian. Soon, entire sectors were evacuated as aliens fled from areas where humans might attack. Agent Kang Min-ji had infiltrated the Dominion capital world. She looked enough like their species to pass casual inspection. Her mission was to gather intelligence on their leadership and find weaknesses. She discovered that many Dominion leaders were starting to question the war. The broadcasts of human deaths were supposed to break human spirit. Instead, they had created an enemy that fought with unlimited violence. Maybe we should have just left them alone, she overheard one official say. Now they will never stop hunting us. Agent Kang sent this information to Earth. Human intelligence was learning that the enemy was becoming afraid. Good. Fear would make them make mistakes. The war had changed completely. 3 months ago, humans fought to defend their worlds. Now they fought to destroy the Dominion Empire. Every human ship, every human soldier, every human scientist worked toward one goal: revenge. The Dominion had wanted to teach humans about power through the broadcast. They had succeeded. But the lesson humans learned was not the one intended. Humans learned that mercy was weakness. They learned that civilization was a luxury they could not afford. Captain Lee Dong-woo's Wraith Corps had captured a Dominion communications post. They found records of other planned executions. The enemy had been planning to kill more human prisoners. Not anymore, Lee said as he watched the post burn. From now on, we kill them before they can kill us. Admiral Yoon Tai-ho received reports from across human space. Production was at maximum levels. Every human world was building weapons and ships. Children too young to fight were working in factories. Everyone had a job in the war effort. Dr. Park Hye-jin finished her latest creation. Self-replicating war machines that could build more of themselves using enemy resources. She called them Prometheus swarms. Once released, they would hunt Dominion forces for decades. How many should we deploy? Asked her assistant. All of them. Every system the Dominion controls should have these machines hunting them. The swarms launched from hidden bases across human space. They would reach Dominion territory in weeks. Then the real extermination would begin. President Kim Bo-ra addressed the galaxy in a public broadcast. Every species heard her words. The Dominion Empire executed 7 million of our people. They broadcast their deaths to break our spirits. They failed. Now we will show the galaxy what humans do to those who murder our families. We will not stop until every Dominion world is ash. We will not accept surrender. We will not show mercy. They taught us that mercy is weakness. We have learned the lesson well. The broadcast ended with footage of the Nova Lance destroying its second star system. 12 billion Dominion civilians died as their sun exploded. The galaxy watched in shock. Humans had become something new. Something terrible. Something that would not stop until their enemies were extinct. 6 months after the broadcast, the Dominion Empire faced a crisis unlike anything in their history. Entire star systems had gone silent. No communications, no trade ships, no signs of life. Where once there had been thriving colonies, now there was only empty space and drifting debris. Supreme Commander Vexithera stood in her command center, staring at the galactic map. Red zones marked systems that no longer responded. There were too many red zones. How many systems have we lost contact with? She asked her aide. 47, Supreme Commander, and the number grows every week. Vexithara felt something she had never experienced before. Fear. The Dominion had conquered hundreds of species over thousands of years. None had ever fought back like this. Commander Jang So-young floated in space inside her modified battle armor. Around her, the remains of Dominion Station 7 drifted in pieces. Her ghost fleet had struck again, appearing from nowhere and destroying everything before vanishing. Any survivors? She asked her team through the comm system. No, Commander. All 15,000 station personnel are dead. We also destroyed the 3 medical ships that were docked here. Jang nodded with satisfaction. The medical ships had been treating wounded Dominion soldiers. Now those soldiers would die from their injuries. Every dead enemy was one less threat to humanity. Her ships looked exactly like Dominion vessels from the outside. Inside, they were crewed by humans who had lost everything. These people had no families left to go home to. They lived only for revenge. Next target is the civilian transport hub in the Altair system, she announced. Intelligence says 200,000 Dominion civilians pass through there every day. Her crew smiled. 200,000 dead aliens in one attack. It would be their biggest success yet. Dr. Park Hye-jin watched the test results of her latest creation. The Nova Lance system had been improved. Now it could destroy multiple stars at once, creating chain reactions that wiped out entire star clusters. We can kill every star in a region of space, she explained to President Kim Bo-ra. Hundreds of systems at once, trillions of lives. President Kim studied the data. How long would it take to target their core worlds? 2 weeks to position the devices. Then everything dies at once. Do it. Target their most populated regions. Dr. Park felt a moment of doubt. This was genocide on a scale never seen before. Then she remembered watching her friends die on the broadcast. The doubt disappeared. On the Dominion capital world, panic was spreading. Refugees from destroyed colonies filled the cities. They brought stories of human attacks that defied belief. Entire populations wiped out. Planets burned to ash. Stars turned into weapons. Dominion citizens who had cheered the execution broadcast now lived in terror. Human war machines hunted their ships. Human agents infiltrated their worlds. Human weapons destroyed their homes. We should never have killed those prisoners, said Council Member Kaithvar. We have awakened something terrible. It is too late for regrets, replied Vexthera. We must fight until one side is extinct. But even she no longer believed they could win. Captain Lee Dong-woo led his Wraith Corps through the corridors of Dominion medical ship Aurora. They had boarded the ship after disabling its engines. Now they moved room by room, killing every alien they found. "Please, we are medical personnel," begged one of the ship's doctors. "We heal the wounded." "We are not soldiers." Lee looked at the alien coldly. "Did you treat the soldiers who executed our 7 million people? Did you help them recover so they could kill more humans?" The doctor nodded fearfully. Lee shot him. "Then you are a legitimate target." His soldiers continued through the ship. In the medical bays, they found wounded Dominion soldiers recovering from battles with human forces. The soldiers tried to surrender. The humans killed them in their beds. By the end, 3,000 Dominion medical staff and patients were dead. The ship was set to drift as a warning to others. Agent Kang Min-ji had reached the highest levels of Dominion government. Her disguise was perfect and her cover identity was solid. She now worked as an aide to Supreme Commander Vexthera herself. The intelligence she gathered was sent to Earth every day. Troop movements, supply routes, battle plans. Everything the Dominion planned, humans knew about in advance. She also planted small devices throughout the capital. When the time came, these would release a virus that would kill every Dominion leader simultaneously. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho commanded a fleet of 5,000 ships now. Every week more vessels joined his forces. Human shipyards worked day and night to build new warships. Every captured Dominion vessel was converted and added to the fleet. "Admiral, we have located the Dominion's main shipyard," reported Captain Kim. "Intelligence says they are building 500 new ships there. Destroy it. Use the Nova Lance if necessary." "Sir, that system has 12 inhabited planets. Civilian populations total 40 billion. Admiral Yoon paused for exactly 1 second. "Use the Nova Lance." The star died 3 hours later. 40 billion Dominion civilians died with it. The shipyard was reduced to plasma and radiation. Engineer Choi Nam-soo had turned the resistance on Titan's Gate into a proper army. They controlled half the planet now. Dominion forces were trapped in a few fortified cities, slowly starving as human forces cut their supply lines. "Should we accept their surrender?" asked his lieutenant Kim Soo-min. "No, we kill them all. Every soldier, every administrator, every technician who helped them occupy our world." The resistance had captured Dominion weapons and vehicles. They used these to attack the remaining enemy strongholds. No quarter was given. No prisoners were taken. Dr. Park's Prometheus swarms had reached Dominion space. The self-replicating machines began their work immediately. They ate through ship hulls, consumed space stations, and turned Dominion infrastructure into more war machines. The swarms grew exponentially. 1 became 10, 10 became 100, 100 became 1,000. Soon, clouds of killer machines filled entire star systems, hunting anything that carried Dominion DNA. Dominion evacuation fleets tried to escape the swarms. Most were caught and destroyed. The lucky few that escaped carried tales of terror that spread panic throughout the Empire. General Park Jin-woo led the enhanced soldiers of the Avenger Corps in ground assaults on Dominion worlds. These volunteers had undergone genetic modification and cybernetic enhancement. They were stronger, faster, and more aggressive than normal humans. "We take the capital city today," he announced to his troops. "Kill everyone you find. Soldiers, civilians, children. The Dominion showed our children no mercy. We return the favor." The enhanced soldiers moved through the city like a plague. Their modified bodies could survive wounds that would kill normal humans. Their enhanced aggression made them fight until their targets were completely destroyed. By evening, the city was silent. 500,000 Dominion civilians lay dead in the streets. President Kim Bo-ra received daily reports on the war's progress. The numbers were satisfying. In 6 months, humans had killed over 10 million Dominion military personnel and 30 million civilians. The debt was being paid. "How many more do we need to kill?" she asked her advisor. "Our target is 7 million dead for each of our 7 million executed. That means 49 million total. We are on schedule." "Good, but I want to exceed the target. They need to understand that attacking humanity has consequences." Commander Jang's Ghost Fleet struck the Dominion's largest civilian transport hub. 200,000 aliens died in minutes as human ships destroyed passenger vessels, cargo haulers, and space stations. The attack was broadcast across Dominion space. Citizens saw their own people dying just as humans had been forced to watch their families die. Now you know how it feels, Jiang transmitted, as she watched the burning wreckage. This is what you did to us. This is what we do to you. The psychological effect was devastating. Dominion civilians stopped traveling. Trade collapsed. Fear paralyzed their society. Supreme Commander Vexithara tried one last desperate move. She sent a message to Earth offering complete surrender and reparations. President Kim's response was broadcast across the galaxy. You had your chance to surrender before you murdered our people. Now you will join them in death. We do not accept surrender from genocidal animals. The message was accompanied by footage of the Nova Lance destroying another star system. This time, 18 billion Dominion civilians died as their sun collapsed into a black hole. Other galactic species watched in horror. They had thought humans were a peaceful race that could be ignored or dismissed. Now they realized they had been watching a sleeping monster. Species that had remained neutral began to openly support the Dominion, not out of friendship, but out of fear. If humans could do this to the Dominion Empire, what could they do to anyone who opposed them? But it was too late. The human war machine was unstoppable now. Every factory, every laboratory, every military base worked toward one goal: the complete extinction of the Dominion species. Dr. Park completed her most terrible creation, a virus that could survive in space and target Dominion DNA across interstellar distances. Released from just one ship, it could spread to every Dominion world in the galaxy. Are you sure about this? Asked her assistant. This could kill their entire species. Every man, woman, and child. Dr. Park remembered the broadcast again. 7 million humans dying while their killers laughed. They chose extinction when they chose genocide. We are simply delivering what they ordered. The virus was loaded onto Admiral. 1 year after the broadcast that changed everything, humanity launched Operation Judgment Day. It was not a battle or a campaign. It was systematic extermination designed to mirror exactly what had been done to 7 million human prisoners. Fleet Admiral Yoon Tai-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display. Red dots showed human fleets moving into position across 47 star systems simultaneously. Each fleet had one mission: complete destruction of all Dominion life in their assigned region. All fleets report ready, announced Communications Officer Park. 3,000 ships in total. Every major Dominion world is targeted. Admiral Yoon nodded. Begin Operation Judgment Day, no survivors. No prisoners. No mercy. The largest coordinated attack in galactic history. Began. Dr. Park Hee-jin activated the Prometheus protocol from her command center on Earth. Automated weapon platforms, hidden throughout space, came online all at once. These machines had been placed secretly over months, waiting for this moment. Prometheus platforms are active, she reported to President Kim Bo-ra. They will operate independently for 50 years, hunting any remaining Dominion forces. The platforms were designed to be unstoppable. They could repair themselves, build more weapons, and adapt to enemy tactics. Even if humanity lost the war completely, these machines would eventually destroy every Dominion in the galaxy. General Park Jin-woo led the Avenger Corps in ground assaults across 12 worlds simultaneously. His enhanced soldiers had been modified beyond recognition. They were more machine than human now, built for one purpose: killing efficiently. Remember, he told his troops before the assault began, we are not here to conquer. We are here to exterminate. Every Dominion civilian is a potential threat. Every child will grow up to be a soldier. Kill them all. The enhanced soldiers moved through Dominion cities like death itself. Their cybernetic implants made them nearly indestructible. Their genetic modifications removed all feelings of mercy or hesitation. They killed with mechanical precision. On the world of Vextar Prime, home to 50 million Dominion civilians, the Avenger Corps worked methodically through the population centers. By the end of the first day, 10 million aliens were dead. By the end of the week, the world was silent. Supreme Commander Vexthara tried desperately to coordinate a defense, but it was hopeless. Human forces appeared everywhere at once. Her ships were outnumbered 10 to 1. Her weapons were inferior. Her soldiers were demoralized. Request immediate evacuation of all core worlds, she ordered. All civilian populations must be moved to the outer colonies. But there was nowhere to run. Human fleets controlled every major hyperspace route. Human agents had sabotaged most transport ships. Human weapons destroyed evacuation fleets before they could escape. Commander Jang So-young's Ghost Fleet struck the Dominion capital world itself. Her ships appeared in orbit without warning, having infiltrated the system using captured alien codes. Target all government buildings, all military installations, and all communication centers, she ordered. Make sure their leadership cannot coordinate any response. The bombardment lasted 6 hours. The Dominion capital burned as human weapons turned their greatest city into rubble. Government leaders died in their offices. Military commanders died in their bunkers. Communications networks went silent. Agent Kang Minji released the virus she had planted throughout the government complex. It spread rapidly through the air systems, killing any Dominion who breathed it. Within minutes, every surviving leader was dead. Kang activated her emergency beacon and waited for extraction. Her mission was complete. The Dominion government no longer existed. Captain Lee Dongwu led a special mission to capture Supreme Commander Vexthara alive. Intelligence had located her personal bunker on the military world of Kethron. She was the one who had ordered the execution of 7 million humans. She would die last, and she would die slowly. Use non-lethal weapons only, he instructed his Wraith Corps soldiers. We need her alive for the trial. The bunker was heavily defended, but human technology was superior now. Lee's troops cut through the defenses like they were made of paper. They found Vexithara in her command center, surrounded by dead bodyguards. I surrender, she said, raising her hands. I claim protection under galactic law. Lee smiled coldly. What law? You killed our people and filmed it for entertainment. Now you face human justice. She was taken alive, but barely. The soldiers wanted to kill her immediately. Only Lee's direct orders kept her breathing. President Kim Bo-ra addressed the galaxy from the ruins of the Dominion capital. The broadcast reached every world, every species, every government. 1 year ago, the Dominion Empire executed 7 million human prisoners and broadcast their deaths to break our spirit. Today, we have killed 49 million Dominion soldiers and civilians in return. This is not revenge. This is justice. The camera showed the burning cities of 12 Dominion worlds. Bodies filled the streets. Orbital bombardments continued in the background. Let this be a lesson to any species that considers harming humanity. We do not start wars, but we finish them. We do not seek conquest, but we will destroy any threat to our people. The Dominion chose genocide. We have given them genocide. Dr. Park's virus was released from Admiral Yoon's flagship as it traveled through Dominion space. The invisible killer spread from ship to ship, station to station, world to world. It could survive in space indefinitely and target only Dominion DNA. How long until it reaches all their colonies? Asked President Kim. 6 months for the virus to spread throughout their territory, Dr. Park replied. Then every Dominion in the galaxy will be dead within weeks. Good. They wanted to exterminate humanity. We will exterminate them instead. The trial of Supreme Commander Vexithara was broadcast live across the galaxy. She sat in chains before a human tribunal, facing charges of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against galactic peace. You ordered the execution of 7 million human prisoners, said the prosecutor. You filmed their deaths for propaganda. You threatened to kill 7 million more. How do you plead? I was following orders, Vexthara replied. I was protecting my people from human aggression. The prosecutor showed footage from the original broadcast. 7 million humans dying while Dominion soldiers laughed, children crying as they were separated from their parents, families holding each other as they were executed. These were prisoners of war, the prosecutor continued. They were entitled to protection under every law of civilized warfare. You murdered them for entertainment. Vexithara had no defense. The evidence was overwhelming. Her own words condemned her. The tribunal found her guilty on all charges. The sentence was death by the same method she had used on human prisoners. She would be executed slowly on live broadcast for the galaxy to watch. Ambassador Oh Soo-bin addressed the Galactic Council in emergency session. Most species had remained neutral during the war, hoping to avoid human attention. The Dominion Empire no longer exists, she announced. Their government is dead. Their military is destroyed. Their colonies are burning. Within 6 months, their entire species will be extinct. The alien representatives sat in stunned silence. The Dominion had been one of the galaxy's greatest powers. Now they were facing complete extinction. This is what happens to species that commit genocide against humanity, Ambassador Oh continued. We hope others will learn from their example. Several species immediately declared eternal friendship with humanity. Others offered tribute and trade agreements. Fear was an excellent motivator for diplomacy. The Prometheus weapon platforms had reached full activation. Thousands of automated killers spread through Dominion space, hunting anything that carried enemy DNA. They built more of themselves using captured materials, growing stronger every day. Dominion evacuation fleets tried to escape to neutral space, but most were intercepted by human forces or destroyed by the platforms. A few 100,000 aliens managed to reach refugee camps in other star systems, but millions more died trying to flee. General Park's enhanced soldiers had cleared 15 worlds completely. Each planet was left silent and empty, its cities burned and its population dead. The Avenger Corps moved with mechanical efficiency, killing everything they found. "Sir, we have eliminated all targets on Vextar Prime," reported Colonel Kim. 50 million confirmed dead. No survivors detected. Excellent. Move to the next world. We have 12 more planets to clear before the virus does our work for us. Admiral Yoon's fleet destroyed the last major Dominion shipyard. The aliens had been trying to build evacuation ships to save their civilians. Now those ships drifted as burning wreckage. Any escape pods? Asked Captain Kim. Yes, sir. 47 pods with life signs. Destroy them. No survivors. The escape pods were vaporized by human weapons. The screams of the dying Dominion filled the radio channels before cutting off abruptly. Commander Zhang's ghost fleet had perfected the art of terror warfare. They would appear without warning, destroy everything in sight, then broadcast the carnage to other Dominion worlds. Each attack broke enemy morale a little more. Next target is the civilian hospital ship Mercy of Keth, she announced. 40,000 wounded civilians and medical staff. Her crew prepared for another massacre. They no longer thought of their targets as 2 years after the broadcast that changed everything. The Galactic Dominion Empire was gone, not defeated, not conquered, gone, extinct, wiped from existence so completely that future historians would debate whether they had ever existed at all. President Kim, Bora stood before the newly formed United Galactic Assembly. Representatives from 300 species sat in careful silence, watching the human leader who had orchestrated the extinction of an entire race. "We did not choose this path," she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "We were forced onto it by those who believed humans were weak because we valued life. We have learned that peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of justice." The alien representatives listened without interruption. No one dared to challenge her words. They had all watched the Dominion die. Admiral Yoon Tae-ho commanded the largest fleet in galactic history. The Human Defense Force now had 15,000 warships, each more advanced than anything the Dominion had possessed. Human bases occupied former Dominion worlds across the galaxy. "Admiral, the Kethvar Republic is requesting permission to establish a trade route through the Vega sector," reported Captain Kim. "Granted, but with conditions. Any ship that enters human space will be inspected. Any species found to have supported the Dominion will be denied passage." This was the new reality. Humanity controlled the core regions of the galaxy. Other species existed at human pleasure. They traveled where humans allowed and traded what humans permitted. Dr. Park Hye-jin led the Galactic Ethics Council from her headquarters on New Geneva. The council had been established to prevent future genocides, but everyone understood its real purpose, to make sure no species ever again considered harming humanity. The Zephyrian Empire has been accused of executing prisoners during their border conflict with the Altarians, reported her assistant. "Send a human investigation team immediately. If the charges are confirmed, implement Protocol 7. Protocol 7 meant complete species extinction. It had been used twice since the Dominion's destruction. The galaxy had learned that the new rules were not suggestions. The memorial service for the 7 million martyrs took place exactly 2 years after their deaths. Every human world participated. Every human ship observed 2 minutes of silence. The names of all 7 million were read aloud over 72 hours. Captain Lee Dongwoo, now Marshal of Human Forces, delivered the closing address from the site where Supreme Commander Vexithara had been executed 1 year earlier. "They died believing in our humanity," he said, looking out at the vast crowd. "We avenged them by abandoning it. Now we must learn to be human again, while never forgetting what we are capable of when our humanity is threatened." The crowd was silent. Many had lost family in the original broadcast. Others had fought in the war of extermination that followed. All of them understood that humanity had changed forever. Engineer Choi, Namsu governed the former Dominion world of Titan's Gate. It had been renamed New Seoul and was now home to 3 million human colonists. The alien cities had been demolished and replaced with human architecture. Any word from the refugee camps? He asked his aide Kim Soo-min. The Andorian camps report 50,000 surviving Dominion individuals. The Centauri camps have 30,000. All others are empty. Less than 100,000 Dominion survivors remained in the entire galaxy. They lived in refugee camps, dependent on the charity of other species. Most had been children when their race died. Dr. Park's virus had been too effective. It had not only killed adult Dominion, but had also remained active in their DNA, making reproduction impossible. The species was not just extinct but genetically dead. Ambassador Oh Soo-bin met with representatives from the remaining refugee camps. The survivors wanted to know if humanity would allow them to continue existing. "You may live," she told them, "but you will never be allowed to form governments, own weapons, or travel freely. Your children will be monitored. Your genetics will be tracked. If even one of you commits a crime against any human, all survivors will be eliminated." The Dominion refugees agreed immediately. Slavery was better than extinction. Commander Jang So-young had been promoted to Admiral of the Fear Fleet. Her ships patrolled the galaxy, appearing without warning to remind other species of human power. Just seeing a human warship was enough to make most aliens reconsider any hostile thoughts. "Admiral, the Proxima Federation is building new battleships," reported her intelligence officer. "Are they targeting human interests?" "No, Admiral. They appear to be defensive ships for their border conflicts with the Tau Ceti Alliance. Monitor them anyway. If their fleet grows beyond defensive needs, we may need to reduce it." This was how peace was maintained now. Humanity watched everything and intervened when necessary. No species was allowed to become strong enough to threaten human interests. General Park Jin-woo oversaw the transformation of former Dominion worlds into human colonies. His enhanced soldiers had become the galaxy's peacekeepers, maintaining order through fear and overwhelming force. "Sir, the Vegan Republic is protesting our occupation of the Kepler systems," reported Colonel Kim. "Tell them they can file a formal complaint with the Galactic Ethics Council. Dr. Park will handle it appropriately." Everyone knew what that meant. The Vegan Republic would quietly withdraw their protest and never mention it again. Challenging humanity was not worth the risk. President Kim Bo-ra was re-elected for a third term without opposition. No other candidate had dared to run against the woman who had orchestrated the extinction of humanity's enemies. "Madam President, the Galactic Assembly is requesting a reduction in human military forces," reported her chief of staff. "They say our current fleet size makes other species nervous." President Kim smiled coldly. "Good. Nervous species make fewer mistakes. Tell the Assembly that human military strength is not subject to their approval." The message was clear. Humanity would decide its own military needs. Other species would adapt or face the consequences. Agent Kang Min-ji now directed human intelligence operations across the galaxy. Her network of spies monitored every major species for signs of hostility toward humanity. "Any threats to report?" asked Marshal Lee during their weekly briefing. "The usual complaints about human domination, but nothing organized. Most species are too afraid to even discuss resistance. The Dominion's fate has been an effective deterrent. Fear was humanity's greatest weapon now. Every species knew what happened to those who harmed humans. Complete extinction was not just possible but inevitable. The children of New Earth learned about the war in school. They studied the broadcast that had started everything. They learned about the 7 million martyrs. They learned about the price of attacking humanity. Teacher Park Min-jung looked out at her young students. "What did we learn from the Dominion War?" she asked. "Humans prefer peace," answered 10-year-old Yoon Ji-ho, "but humans are very good at war." "That's right. And what happened to the Dominion? They hurt humans, so humans made them extinct forever." Teacher Park nodded approvingly. "Never forget this lesson. Peace is only possible when everyone understands the consequences of breaking it." Dr. Park's automated weapon platforms continued their eternal patrol. Thousands of machines drifted through space, programmed to destroy any threat to humanity. They would operate for centuries, ensuring that no species could surprise humanity again. Admiral Yoon received reports from across human space. Production had returned to civilian levels, but conversion protocols remained ready. If needed, humanity could switch to total war production within days. Admiral, long-range sensors have detected an unknown species at the galaxy's edge, reported Captain Kim. They appear to have advanced technology. Send a diplomatic mission with appropriate escort. If they are peaceful, welcome them to the galaxy. If they are hostile, Admiral Yoon paused. Make sure they understand human capabilities before they make any unfortunate decisions. The new species would learn what every other race had learned. The galaxy belonged to humanity now. Others existed only because humans allowed it. Marshal Lee stood at the memorial wall containing the names of all 7 million victims. He came here every year on the anniversary, remembering the friends and soldiers he could not save. We kept our promise, he said quietly to the wall. Every debt was paid. Every life was avenged. They will never hurt anyone again. But the victory felt hollow. Humanity had saved itself by becoming the very monster it had fought against. They had preserved human life by destroying the humanity that made life worth preserving. President Kim's final address to the galaxy was broadcast from the site of the original execution ground. The world had been turned into a memorial, but also a warning. 2 years ago, 7 million humans died here while the galaxy watched. Today, an entire species is extinct because they chose genocide over mercy. This is the lesson of the Dominion War. Those who harm humanity will not survive to regret it. The camera showed the empty worlds where the Dominion had once lived. Silent cities under alien suns, abandoned space stations drifting in the void. A civilization erased so completely that even their ruins were being reclaimed by nature. The galaxy is at peace now, President Kim continued. It will remain at peace as long as everyone remembers this simple truth. Humanity does not start wars, but we finish them. We do not seek dominion over others, but we will destroy any threat to our people. The broadcast,